Hello. I want to start my story off of an amazing nature-provided, God-made vaccine. I call it a vaccine. And the story begins right here. That's where the miracle substances come from that the bee brings back to the hive, and we can benefit from to the degree that we can quit going to our allergy doctors, quit taking our over-the-counter medications and all kinds of medications that we treat our hay fever with. I suffered from hay fever since 16 years old and right on through till almost 60 years old, and suffered greatly, as only other hay fever sufferers who have extreme hay fever can understand what I'm talking about. From 16 years old on, every spring and every fall, there was lots of misery, lots of Kleenexes, lots of rolls of toilet paper, handkerchiefs, and embarrassing, awkward moments. In fact, having hay fever to the degree that I did, as many do, opened me up to virus infections and just easy to catch things that are even easier to catch when your immune system is challenged. So like so many people suffering all those years, I did what I could. I went to take shots 3 times in 3 different locations where I lived, and each time I was disappointed. So I finally gave up on the shots and stuck with the over-the-counter stuff, which I, in particular, like some people, had a lot of adverse reaction from, so that I couldn't really operate machinery, drive a car responsibly, and so on. And I needed to take a nap, usually after a couple of those pills. So here's the story. I was sitting listening to the radio one day, and a news reporter came on and explained how a U.S. senator had found complete and total relief from his hay fever, which was a debilitating thing for him because he had to give speeches, and he couldn't do that in the spring, he couldn't do that in the fall, and like me, he was on the desperate side on account of mere hay fever. Alright, so the cure he found was a simple thing that works sort of on the same similar premise as your immune shots. You get something that is bothering you into your system, and somehow that helps you to avoid the negative effect of that something. I had been told by different sources that if I would just eat raw honey from a local beekeeper, that would give me the relief I was looking for, and it never did that. And of course I tried all kinds of other herbal suggestions, and I even moved all the way out to Arizona, where I found out that the oleander bushes were another enemy of mine, brought in by Midwesterners who wanted to make it look more like where they came from. So between the red dust that flies out there and the oleander bushes, the pollen count was pretty bad. The dust was also horrendously bad for me. I remember one time I had to duck into a store just to get out of a dust storm that was about gagging me to death. Alright, so the other suggestion made to me was get you some pollen pills over at Walmart, cheap. Well, the first time I ever tried that, I don't remember how exactly it took place, but I swallowed a pill, and the next thing I knew, I was gasping for air, thinking I might have to go down to the emergency room, and it passed. But I never touched that stuff again. Okay, so I hear this report on the radio, and I'm like most people, I say, that's too simple, that's too easy. Is this for real? And I say, well, what have I got to lose? So I pretty quickly went and found me a beekeeper who was able to sell me some hunks of honeycomb. And I tried what they said on the radio was the cure, which is you cut it into maybe a tablespoon's worth or a square inch of honeycomb, and you chew on that for 10 minutes straight. Go day after day with once a day on that for about a week. Oh no, I'm sorry, for 2 weeks, about 14 days. Well, by about the 8th or 9th day, I already knew that there was something good happening. By the time I finished that regimen, I was cured. And I mean, I think I did this in the spring. It was either the spring or the fall. So maybe about 4 years ago. And I mean, I was cured. I mean, I was walking around on cloud nine. I just thought, in one regard, I was grateful. In another regard, I thought, how in the world could nobody have told me this after all the searching I did and all the talking I did to people, allergists, herbalists. And I don't mean to be putting allergy shot business out of business, but I wish I could, because all you have to do is do what I said, get you some of that, chew it every day, and I'd say I could almost guarantee you're going to be cured like I was. And well, let me tell the whole story. 3 years after I started, it was true that I started getting back a little bit of the itchy throat and the watery eyes and the sneezing, and that was this year, in fact. But after 5 days of chewing the wax again, I was good as new. So I won't say it's a permanent cure, but compared to all the other so-called answers, it is the only answer. So this is my first YouTube video. I'm not too used to staring into a cell phone camera, but I hope that this gets to some people who suffered too long, too much, spent too much money and time wasted on medicines and treatments, and have the openness of mind to give this a try. I found 3 ladies that complained of extreme hay fever, gave them a hunk of this wax because I bought me 2 5-gallon buckets full. I was about ready to give it to the whole world. And from what the lady told me, her niece and her friend got cured, and she got cured. So there you go. I'm passing it on to whosoever can use this information and benefit from it. And this was my first video. Lord willing, I expect to do other videos on various subjects, but I thought this was a good starting point. So thank you for listening, and I hope somebody out there tries this, gets the same results I did and this senator did, and gives me some feedback in the comment section. Would be greatly appreciated. So I'm looking for my pet. She's not in sight. I'll catch up with her. Thank you for watching. I hope somebody out there can really benefit from this. By the grace of God. Bye.